one of the pillars, the 4 pillars that you had proposed during your campaigns was the protecting the rule of law. And currently we see that the government has been doing things that might contravene that rule of law. For example, the Ebola quarantine facility that is supposed to come up in Laikipia and is supposed to treat US citizens. I know the LSK went to court and you filed a petition. You also got an interim order to halt the process. On the opposite side, the government is saying that they don't need public participation. It's an urgent matter and they should make an executive decision regarding that facility. What do you say as LSK?
So one of the concerns we have is that there are certain areas of public engagement by the government or government operations where they somehow feel that they can carve them out from the constitutional values and principles of governance, which are found in Article 10 of the Constitution. And one of those areas is in foreign relations or dealing with diplomatic matters, international diplomacy. And I think this is a major failure of the government not to realize that the Constitution of Kenya applies to all situations of governance, whether it is domestic politics, whether it is diplomatic relations, and so on. And of course, this case of the Ebola quarantine or isolation facility is an example of a situation which actually mixes diplomatic relations with governance within the country, local governance, because it is a facility that is being established in Kenya. Ebola is a public health hazard of a major problem. It is a sickness that has, the current outbreak has begun in eastern DRC and spread to western Uganda. It is something that, of course, has international implications. It's a World Health Organization that helps to manage at a multilateral level this kind of like epidemics or outbreaks. We have the Secretary of State of the United States of America, Marco Rubio, who says we will not allow anyone with Ebola to come into our country because we want to keep our citizens safe. And then the same government is now agreeing with the Kenyan government, we will take our Ebola patients into your country. So when you do such a thing, the requirements of Article 10 of our Constitution on accountability, public participation, do they suddenly disappear? And yet this is a public health issue. It involves the public. Of course not. So as the Law Society of Kenya, we are concerned about any situations where any state officers, public officers, or public organs disregard aspects of the Constitution or assume they can put the Constitution in a corner, apply it in certain cases, and ignore it in certain other cases. The Constitution applies to all situations of governance within the Republic of Kenya.
So that means it is an ongoing case and we'll have to see what happens.
Yes, the current case relating to the action of the Kenya government relating to the Ebola quarantine or isolation facility that is being set up in Laikipia by the United States government is now in court, and it is expected to be heard later in the month of June 2026. And then the court will finally determine whether the government complied with the law or they violated the law in the actions that they undertook.
So in this case, we are learning that the government is not above the Constitution, that they have to abide by what the Constitution says.